Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Get ready, because for the final myth of today's episode, we're going to be tackling if whether or not it is possible to stop the crashing plane on dead air. This is going to be ridiculous. I'm really looking forward to showing you guys the results. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys support. And if there's a particular myth that you guys would like to see featured in next week's episode, just please put them in the comments down below. But yeah, guys, as always, let's get on with this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: can the Midnight Riders tour bus run the witch over? Alrighty guys, so to start off the episode, we're getting a myth submitted in by Vader. Vader wants to know, can you run over the witch with the Midnight Riders tour bus? Now in a prior myth, we have successfully done this with the tank. So when it comes to the witch, I would like to believe that personally this would be possible. So we're going to be just going in here, and we're just going to be seeing if whether or not she can die. I am very confident that this will work, but we just have to wait and see before we confirm anything. So here we go. We're going to go over there now, and I've got my spawner ready. So here we go. Let's spawn some witches in front of the bus. And yep, the bus completely ran over the witch. She had no chance. So the myth is confirmed. You can end up running over the witch with the Midnight Riders tour bus in Left 4 Dead 2. Myth: can Comet infected kill a special infected that has been boomer biled? Alrighty guys, this next myth was submitted in by Samuel Oliveras. Now Samuel, this is a pretty good question. Now, not everyone knows this, so I want to show you, my friend, what the boomer bile can officially do in the game. So the boomer bile is not just meant to end up attracting the common infected, so that way they can end up being in a pile and you can shoot them, but they are also used as a way to end up redirecting their attacking patterns. So we have a whole bunch of different common infected that are spawned in here, and we're going to boomer bile a spitter, just so that we can show you what will exactly happen to a special infected if they are boomer biled. So here's a spitter getting attacked by common infected right now, and as you can see, the spitter got killed because you can see her corpse and plus also her spit being drained out of her body. So that means that, yes, this myth is confirmed. If you boomer bile a special infected, if they are unlucky, the zombies will end up killing them and assisting you in the battle. Myth: can you play soccer in Left 4 Dead 2? Alrighty guys, this next myth was submitted in by Star. So now we got another sports myth. So we have tried to end up playing baseball, we have ended up trying to play golf, and now we are moving on to soccer. So the way that this myth is supposed to work is that Star says basically you can end up doing this as long as you end up having a tank and a mounted gun, because the physics of both of those things in question are able to fling a car. So we're going to spawn a tank and then just shoot at the car that he flings at us and see if it ends up bouncing back. So here we go. We've got an alarmed car ready to move. Glabersko is going to end up being on the mounted turret that is on crash course here, and we're going to be spawning in a tank here in just a moment. So here we go. Let's spawn in the tank and see what's what. So here comes the tank, and I'm just going to back up so that way you guys can get a better view. So he smacks the car, and Glabersko shoots it right back at him, and I'm surprised that the tank didn't die, but I mean, hey, technically it worked one way and then it worked the other. Now, the tank didn't fling it back, of course, because it went behind him and he was more focused on us, but that does mean, though, that if it was a human-controlled tank, he could continue to fling it back at us, and as long as we were careful, we could technically play soccer in Left 4 Dead 2. So it's confirmed, and it's really fun. Myth: does Molotov damage stack? Alrighty guys, so this next myth was submitted in by Nitwit. Now Nitwit, when it comes to your myth, this is a really good question to ask, because the Molotov is one of the most useful pieces of equipment in the entire game. I think that personally it's the best throwable item in Left 4 Dead. Now the Molotov, in my opinion, is really useful for like burning tanks and burning witches, because they're basically guaranteed kills, because once the tank or the witch is on fire, pretty much all you gotta do is run away, but sometimes you just get unlucky and they just don't die quick enough. So, if you were to have multiple Molotovs on you, can you kill the special infected quicker? That is what we're going to be testing here. So, me, Dan, Glabersko, and Drages have two separate little areas full of tanks. So, we're going to be having Dan on one area throw a single Molotov, while Drages and Glabersko both throw a Molotov each on the other tank that is to my right. I'm going to be looking at them both, and we're going to be seeing if whether or not by just simply adding one other Molotov, does the tank that's on the right, that is getting hit with more than one Molotov, die quicker. So, minus the few seconds of possible human error, I'm going to be showing you guys the burning effects of both tanks right now. So, the one on the right is once again going to be Drages and Glabersko's, which they both threw one Molotov at each, and then the one on the left is going to end up being Dan's, where it's just a single Molotov. So, even if one Molotov extra is used, can you end up getting a little bit more damage onto a tank? Because if you could, this would be incredible. Now here's the thing with the myth personally, is that even if the myth, like, let's say, was confirmed, I don't really know if this is going to be meta changing, because it's more useful to end up using one Molotov at a time to end up burning a tank, and then saving the other Molotovs for another tank, and then just ended up running away, because you don't really need to waste a Molotov multiple times on a single tank, even if this did work, because you really want to utilize fire with the tank. Trying to just shoot the tank without fire is really difficult in comparison to just burning him and running away, or at least stacking bullets with fire. And I feel like this isn't going to change too much, but it would be interesting to know if you only just had Molotovs, would it make it any easier? But I think that the tank on the right finally did stop moving, personally. Because all I just see is his body be on fire. Before he was, like, throwing rocks, and now the one on the left looks like he just died too. So, honestly, it looks like that it did work. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm personally going to encourage the guys to do this a couple more times, and we'll just be double sure. So now me, Globbersko, and Drages are just going to spam infinite Molotovs to see if we can kill the tank in a couple of seconds, or maybe even instantaneously, perhaps. And then Dan's going to be throwing his own singular Molotov once again. The average Molotov, give or take, is a little bit around, like, let's say 1 minute, just depending on what's going on in addition to the Molotov, or if whether or not it's just the Molotov by itself. And I just want to see if whether or not that we can significantly reduce the time with me, Drages, and Globbersko's tank. So here we go, 3, 2, and a number 1. So here we go, me, Drages, and Globbersko are going to start spamming now. I also do want to point out, by the way, that yes, Dan's Molotov did not connect right away, but we're throwing more of them, so it kind of equals out. But if there is a difference, I will deduct for human error. But you can see that our tank is still throwing rocks and freaking out, and he is indeed alive, but he's really engulfed in this fire, and he's probably going to die very soon, because even the strongest of special infected probably can't take that much. In fact, actually, I think, honestly, he might be on his last legs, because I don't really see a lot of moving. I just see fire. In fact, I think he's already dead. Yeah, I think that he's already dead. I'm almost certain of it, because the tank is not moving whatsoever. I think he died, like, a long time ago. I think that after, like, the 5th Molotov, he gave up. And even Dan's is still alive right now and kicking. Dan's is, like, significantly more alive than ours was. This is a noticeable difference. This is the type of thing that we were looking for. So even though it took us spamming an entire Fire Nation from the Avatar, we were able to kill our tank significantly faster. So that means that this myth is also confirmed. So at least the fire coming from the Molotov specifically, this damage does indeed stack. Okay guys, here we go. It's time for the final myth, and it's once again going to be, can you stop the crashing dynamic event plane that is at the finale on Dead Air? Let's do this. Myth. Can you stop the crashing plane dynamic event on the Dead Air finale? Alrighty guys, so the final myth was submitted in by Globbersko. Now Globbersko words this as basically, can the in-game models end up stopping the plane, or will the in-game models be affected by the plane? And I'm curious about this too, because this plane is an insane event. It's probably one of the most insane things about Left 4 Dead. For me personally, it's my favorite dynamic event that is in the game. Let me know what yours is personally down below in the comments. But yeah, so when it comes to the plane, before it crashes at least, I really haven't been able to interact with this thing a lot personally. In fact, I think that's before been intangible to some things, but we have found out recently with the Midnight Riders tour bus that was in episode 50 of Mythbusting Mondays, which if you've not seen that episode, please definitely check it out. But in that myth, we decided whether or not it was possible to stop the Midnight Riders tour bus, and it was, as long as we used certain in-game models. So we tried a whole bunch of different models for the plane, but we need to use the bigger ones deliberately just because they're the only things that could reach the plane. But I mean, dude, we've made basically the Great Wall of China. I mean, this should stop it, hopefully, right? No, the plane just doesn't give a crap. The plane just flat out ignores the debris. And the weird thing is, too, is that it gets stopped by the map itself, which is ironic, but the stuff that we put doesn't work. So even though the plane did end up skipping our stuff, I do personally want to believe that this is possible, but the thing is, though, is that the stuff that we have in the game to spawn in, all of it didn't work. And I think that it's something to do with the way that the map is designed. The map itself destroys it, but I think that it's more just because it's a pre-rendered cutscene, because the plane is intangible to a player. Like, for example, if I were to walk through with my solid body, I can go through it. So I really don't know truly what's going on here. But at least within the means of the game, like the full-on game, we spawned in everything to try to block this. And you guys saw the best attempt, the giant Great Wall that we made. and that didn't work. So given the fact that even though I want to call this plausible, since everything in the entire game was not able to stop from at least what we were able to spawn in, unless I want to go out of my way and install, like, legitimate cheats, like stuff you shouldn't be installing in your game, then I personally don't really have anything left to stop this from what I can see. So I am going to unfortunately have to label this as busted, even though I want to label it as at least plausible. I can't prove it, and I can't really justify calling it that, so I have to sadly label it as busted. But dude, if you could do this, that would be really cool. But yeah, everybody, that is it for today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. I do truly hope you guys end up enjoying, and if you did, please consider once again dropping a like, comment, and subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. And before you go, I just wanted to mention a couple things. Is that number one is that if you want to see a really crazy episode of Myth Busting Mondays, please refer to the last episode where we ended up doing a special for episode 50. We did double the myths and did 10, and plus also the last one was just really insane, whether or not if we could end up doing dominoes in Left 4 Dead. So please definitely check that out. If you also want to have one of your myths featured in next week's episode, just please put them down below in the comments. I read every single thing that you guys put in there, and I really want to see what you guys come up with your creativity. If you guys would like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate it. You guys could also check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they are sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. But yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video for the most unique YouTubers are ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords. Jesus here. And you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too. And give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!